Howdy, tubers and footers. How you doing tonight? I
Hello,
got with me
hello,
this evening, Derek. How's it going? Wrong side.
hello. I'm over
Yahoo!
here.
Woo! So tonight, I'm going to start out with something a little different, a little fun, but there is a I don't know what you call it, an art class or store or whatever out here, and it's called Paint Nights with Sara.
Sarah.
And Sara, yay! So she gives these great classes on how to paint with acrylics. And she does
Which is
these great
great.
little tutorials. She also has a Facebook page, Paint Nights with Sara, and it's from Wasilla, Alaska. And she offers, each week she does a different painting. And so it's a really fun thing that I enjoy doing. And even like when I was in Mexico and I was painting, that's what I was doing it from, was following her tutorials on her Facebook little group page that she has. And so it's a lot of fun. When my dad's here, we go there and do a lot of paintings together.
I
And
remember
so
some of the pictures that you had of you and him
yeah.
years
So it's
past.
something I enjoy a lot. Yeah, it's a great time. And so I stopped in there because I was telling Derek that they had this Sasquatch painting class, and it's a cutout of a Sasquatch, and you get to paint this Alaska scene in the cutout. And I thought, oh, I definitely have to
I didn't
go to
do
that
that.
class. Yeah,
And
right?
I was going to buy that for you as a birthday present.
Yeah, you were.
I was like, oh man, I got to get that for her.
Yeah,
That'd be
thank you.
perfect.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
That's the thought. Definitely counts.
But you
So
hooked up with Sarah and all these other classes opened up.
yeah,
That's a cool thing.
yeah. So I went in there, and so on her wall, of course, we were really excited to see each other, and I
Yep.
got to see Julie, my niece's, well, she's not my blood niece, but my nephew's wife, her
Yep.
mom. So that was really nice too. She was happened to be in there working on some art projects. So it was really cool. It's a really fun environment.
Sweet, sweet.
Like you could go there and bring your art projects there and work on them and stuff. Like it's a great place for creativity. Hey, yeah, Miss Dill, how you doing? And so when I
Love Dill.
stopped in there to
Love Dill
sign
stuff.
up for classes, ta-da!
Woo-hoo! Now that's a
Yeah.
big goodie bag right there. Where those joints like 2 foot long or something? That's a big bag.
That's a big goodie bag. So you are not going to believe what's in this goodie bag, though. So when I saw
I
this stuff,
probably
I
won't believe, but I will believe in a second
I
or two.
had to get it. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
First thing up, the Bigfoot layered
Wow,
shelf sitter. Look at that.
that looks badass. I like that graphic.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of wood little
Whoa,
cutouts.
that is awesome. 3D.
There's like 8 little layers of these wood cutouts. So you paint, it comes with the paint, it comes with paint brushes, it comes with the glue, the wood glue.
You paint each layer separate.
Yeah, so you paint each layer separately and then you glue it together and it looks something like that. And it has not little, but it has Bigfoot in it. So you
Oh,
can see like,
yours is gonna look way badasser than the one on the back.
yeah, because it's going to be pink. I'm
Well,
the only pink
well, for the fact that
Sasquatch.
you're a
Hey,
good
Texas
painter.
Jack.
The
What?
fact that you're a good painter, you're gonna
Aw.
paint each layer really detailed and stuff, and it'll look. I mean, I love how the wood is cut out. I mean, that looks
Yeah, isn't
very
that
3D.
awesome?
That is
Yeah, so
awesome.
you could probably go to her page and order these too,
Cool,
if you wanted. So that's pretty cool. It's the Bigfoot layered shelf sitter.
cool, cool.
So I can't
Look,
wait to do that project. So of
sweet.
course, right? Like I had to
Yep.
get that. Of course. Like it was screaming.
No brainer, people. No brainer.
Right. So for her classes, she has a set of brushes that she
Yep.
uses. So when she says,
Different
okay, the
sizes.
number 10 or the number 9, you know exactly which brush she's referring to.
Smart.
So I got another set because I went through my other set. Well, they're in Oregon, but I need a new set
It
anyhow.
is
Hey,
good to point
coin
out to people.
777. What?
It is good to point out to people that the way that they number the brushes is
Mhm.
kind of similar to how the way that they number pencil sizes. Like if you ever see mechanical pencils, like engineering pencils or whatever, the different sizes. Same thing with the brushes. I mean, everything has its own scale, but it's
Yeah.
but once you understand one scale, it's easy to understand any other.
Yeah,
And
and like the
obviously,
different different types and
yeah, some
yeah.
are some have a chamfered edge, and some are beveled, and some are rounded. And so they're different styles. Like when it comes to painting, you can paint you know very sharp lines, but you can also do speckle by
Yeah.
dabbing the brush onto the surface or whatever and getting a speckled effect. And I
So
mean, really cool. I mean, that's where techniques come into play, and the different brush styles, because there's a lot you can
there's
do with
so many, yeah, and I'm
so many
kinda
different techniques.
trying to get back into the whole thing, so it's really nice to get go to these classes and get reacquainted
Creativity
with
is
everything.
a blast. I mean, a lot. Yeah, I mean, for anybody who hasn't delved into just being creative in whatever realms they want to be creative in, it's never ending. It's like the universe. I mean,
Yeah.
it's infinite.
It's a never-ending story.
True. That's
Right?
true.
Okay, and then this is the Alaska camping paint kit. See that guy right there? Is
Woo,
it a footy man?
in
There's a
Alaska, and a campfire, and a scent tree, and a couple other things I missed.
yeah, so we got Footy Man, we got the fire, we got the Christmas tree, we got the side-by-side ATV, the cabin,
Yep,
and then the Alaska with
yep,
the Alaska flag in it.
yep, and the Big Dipper.
Yeah. So, and it's a full little kit, so it's little ornaments,
Sweet.
and it comes with the paint and the paintbrushes and everything. So, that's a
That's
cute
pretty
little
sweet. I mean,
yeah, another
that right there is a fun little gift for anybody in the whole world. Who
yeah,
wouldn't love to get something where it comes with the kit and the paints and everything, and you just get to do whatever you want to do?
exactly. I think it's a great idea. So, I don't know. I was
It's a
thinking
great idea.
like maybe with like Danielle or something, we could do some of this as a giveaway, you know, little for contests or something. I don't know, getting different ideas. But
I could imagine that some people in different regions would probably want the cutout to be of their region, but come included with the same paints that go with that kit. So
yeah,
there's Alaskan kit, maybe even a France kit, or maybe even a Japanese kit, or maybe even a Venezuelan kit.
yeah,
So people in different parts,
that would
could
be neat.
have a kit, and then the paint.
Yeah. Okay, these are you ready for some fun stuff? I don't know if you've
Mhm.
done any metal artwork, but I love to do metal artwork. And da 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 da!
Wow, that
It's a
is,
raven.
yeah. I mean, I could see it. That's wicked, and I could see the striations of the metalwork,
Yeah.
flown with the shape of the raven. That is
Isn't that
that's
cool?
amazing. Yeah, that's amazing metalwork right there.
Yeah.
Very, very
So,
highly polished.
yeah.
The shape of the raven's badass too. Wait a second. That would look like a better logo than the Green Raven logo, in my opinion. No, I'm serious. That's a batter ass looking raven.
It's pretty bitchin', huh? So, yeah, speaking
Well,
of Green Raven, look at my swag I got from Green Raven.
yeah. Well, you know how it is. Ravens, the pose of the raven
Yep.
says a lot about the raven. But from what I understand, and you know me, I like to research a lot of things, but I don't know everything. But ravens are amongst the smartest birds on the planet. There's videos that I've seen online where people or I should say, scientists, are testing out the intellect
Yep.
of humans.
They test. Yeah.
Things like
Hmm.
where they'd grab, like, let's say, I don't have an empty beer
It's
bottle,
like a
but they
raven
grab an
and an
empty bottle.
octopus are extremely intelligent.
Oh yeah, octopus. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
They go deep on that. But ravens, where they'd teach ravens how to, you know, a long neck beer bottle
Uh-huh.
that's empty. They'd put seeds in the bottom, and they'd have another long neck beer bottle right beside it filled with liquid. And they'd give it the test to this raven, and the raven would go up there and look at it and say, "Well, how about I take some of this liquid from out of this bottle, put in this one, and force the seeds to rise up." And when the seeds rise, because obviously seeds are going to float,
Right.
and as they take more liquid from one bottle to the next, and they pour it over there, seeds start rising up, and now they're within grasp of them getting it, and they get their reward. And
Miss
there's
Dill has a
video.
question for you.
I do play music, yes. Well, I play music from other people all the time. When I listen to radio or whatever. But yes, I do play my own music.
Yep.
Obviously, because I got stuff behind me, whatever. But it's all personal. I don't do cover tunes. I don't do. It's all custom stuff.
You want to tell her your band name?
Lazarus.
Da, 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 da. Da.
Beep, beep, beep. But
Yay.
yeah, we were kind of on hold and delayed due to COVID, obviously, like everybody else. But
Okay, you ready to see this? One last piece.
Woo! Now
Looks
that looks
right
like
for me,
it's one of
so
those.
I guess there we go. That looks better for you guys there.
Wait a second, that's a chunk of the Alaska pipeline.
Look
I
at
can tell
that.
that metal from anywhere. It's a half-inch thick piece of.
No, I wish it was. It's
Oh, it
not.
wasn't.
I
Look,
know.
look.
That's what I'm yes. Oh, dude, that's
I have two.
exactly what I
I have
want.
two of those. I have one that's from 1975, which is
Brett?
the standard half-inch thick or whatever it is pipeline
Yeah.
cut out. Beautiful piece,
Oh, I
polished and everything.
bet. Oh, I'm jealous. Totally jealous.
I'm gonna get it on video. The next, I'll try and get it on the next show.
See, so this isn't that big. It's kind of big, but not super big. There, look, that's the panhandle of Alaska.
Ooh, panhandle. Who doesn't like the panhandle?
And the Arctic chain. Lovey Pie and Jakers is out here somewhere in the middle of the water.
Ooh, Prince William Sound.
Joe and
Or,
Shuggy Bear are out in Bristol Bay.
yep, way out there.
Here's Prince William
Hey,
Sound is up here.
Jackie, can you use that panhandle properly and hold it like you're gonna cook up some bacon and eggs? I'm playing. I'm playing.
How I cook?
I'm just joking. I mean,
Anybody that knows me knows I don't cook.
If you're gonna cook, why not cook on the state of Alaska? That'd be awesome, right?
Exactly. There you go. Well, I can cook, but it's more entertaining than anything else. Watching me cook
I consider
is
myself a pretty decent cook.
it's the key. So there, yeah, that's our yeah. There's all my projects from Sarah's paint night.
I really love that tapestry behind you. That is a great backdrop.
Thank you.
I love it. The previous one with the Alaska state flag and other things, that was all great. That one right there, that's perfect because I love how it's centered around your head. It kind of gives it, the way it's fanned out like that really reminds me of like Mayans.
Oh, right.
Because I mean, Native Americans, whether it's Apache or Comanche or whatever Native American tribe, or they didn't have the feathers flowing out like that. It was usually a backdrop.
That's
But
neat
that
how
looks
it just
more Mayan.
aligns.
Yeah, to me, anyway, I'm not the best judge
Awesome.
of but it looks awesome and
Thank
cool
you.
backdrop. Cool
Thank you.
backdrop.
Thank you. Do you mind sharing something again? We were talking earlier on my Tubers and
Hey,
Chiefers channel. Yeah, you.
okay,
You.
yep, yep,
You. Over there.
yep.
Over there.
Me over
You,
here.
you.
Sure, I'll share.
So
Well,
we were messing around. Well, we weren't messing around, but we were looking at the different pictures between the Hubble
yep.
and the JW,
Okay, so the Hubble and the JW, James Webb. There
the
was
telescopes.
yeah, the one that they just captured today.
Yeah,
I think it was today. Let's see. Let's see if we can pull it. Let's see if we can pull it up.
it's July 11th. It's almost my birthday.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday's my birthday.
Yeah,
The
I knew that.
13th.
All right, let's see. NASA. They got the James Webb up there right now. There it is. Boom. Yeah.
Strangeland. Howdy.
Beautiful pic. So let me see. All right. Should I share?
Yeah.
We live?
Yep, we are live.
All right. So I'm gonna share this screen then. Boom. Boom.
So Strangeland has crows, and
Did it show up?
there we go. Let me just put this full screen here. Bam! There we go.
All right. So that's the old Hubble deep field view, and that was captured in, I believe, 1995. So, older technology,
Yep.
obviously. But
You
if
can
we,
see all the
let me see if
yeah.
I can zoom in here. There we go. And you can see there's a lot of pixelation in what should be the blackness of space. You can see all this red and green
Yeah.
blue all throughout everywhere here because it's very grainy, very pixelated because, it's older technology, obviously. And now we have this new image. This one's from the James Webb. And this is,
Oh.
so if I zoom in, and you can see that the blackness of space doesn't have any pixelation. Going from one to the other. See if I zoom in to any spot, let's say this galaxy over here,
Yeah.
zoom in, and you can see all this pixelation around it. It should appear as blackness of space, but it's just low res cameras. But for 1995, that was badass.
Yep. That was, man, I remember just being addicted to all the images that came out of Hubble.
But the cool thing is this deep field view from 1995 changed our understanding of the universe because 100 years
Indeed.
ago, before Edwin Hubble, we thought that of the stars you see in the sky are or is the universe. And then Edwin Hubble
Hey,
came
Chris
along,
Snyder, welcome.
and Edwin Hubble discovered that there was a galaxy but beyond ours, and then expanded things exponentially. But yeah,
All
this
right, now show the big JW.
James Webb. Yeah, so this, yep, I'll switch over to it. So this vision was the Hubble in
Yep.
95, 27 years ago. And this is the image that was released today by by NASA pertaining to the James Webb. Now, the thing that caught my eye, and you and I talked about this earlier today, was these galaxies that look like they're spiraling. See all these ones that look like they're elongated,
Right.
and it almost looks like they're spiraling around some anomaly. But the weird thing is, this galaxy right here, based on its curvature, and this galaxy, based on its curvature, and this one curves the opposite way.
Yeah.
And then you look at these other galaxies and stuff like that. If you look at the whole of them, it's weird. You'd almost think the center of them all would be somewhere around here, but then you have this one curving away.
Yes.
And then you have some other weird anomalies.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, where the hell is it?
What's
Because let's look
happening?
at this one right here. See this one right here?
Yep.
And then see this one. So you'd think these would be on opposite sides of each other, but then look at this. And that's the weird thing is, and then look at some of the ones around them. Like, look at this one. It's got
Yeah.
a sharp curve. If you're using this and this as the middles, and then you have this really strikingly sharp curve going this way, and this one going this way, it's like, well, what's going on with the imagery?
Something's happening, right? There's something pulling on all of those galaxies. And you can really see it. Like I call it the eye of Ra. Because that's
This
what it
one
looks
right
like
here,
to
right
me.
here, right here.
Yes. Yes. Looks like the eye of Ra. But right to the lower right of it, you can really see, some of it. And then if you look straight diagonally across, down, like down diagonal from it,
Where? Tell me
just
where.
yeah, right diagonal is where you really start to see the blur of whatever is pulling these
Oh, yeah.
galaxies.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's something in there, and I am just fascinated.
But check this out. See this right here? I'm going to zoom in right on the spot. You see the spot where I'm pointing at?
Yep, my eye of Ra.
Watch this. Watch me zoom in on that and watch
Hi,
how it
12
changes.
girls.
See that? There's the eye.
Yeah.
Look at that. Now look how sharp that is. See all these little speckles?
Another galaxy.
What? Now, but do you see it on your screen? All these
Yes,
speckles?
I can see it. Yes.
Those are all, every one of those is galaxies.
Yeah.
Further away than what we're viewing. This is the furthest, no, this is what's crazy. The
Yes.
stars show up as these big flared out, these are all stars. These are stars in our galaxy. Anything with these big flares are in the near field. Anything that doesn't have a flare is far away. And so if we come over here to your galaxy that you like to say of you know, um, the eye of what?
The eye of Ra.
Eye of Ra.
Yep.
Come over here and we zoom in on that. Watch how big this eye of Ra gets now. Here's the eye of Ra now.
Wamba wamba.
And see all these speckles around it that weren't showing up before? Those aren't stars. Those are galaxies even further away. Even though this image is the furthest we've ever seen, 13 billion years away, all these speckles that you see in the sky behind it, those are all galaxies.
Now check out the actual star.
This one.
Yeah, I love that light refraction and what's going on in there. Like, look at the colors. Can you see all those colors?
Oh yeah, the interesting thing is that James Webb is it comes with from what I've gathered so far. Look at these stars. See how you can see the red and the blue totally distinctly different
Yes.
compared to this one. From what I understand, the James Webb is it has infrared, ultraviolet, gamma. You could see in all of these different spectrums all at the same time. And so this image, I don't know if they did this with it, but since you can see some reds and some blues and yellows and other colors, I don't know if they viewed this from different spectrums and just layered them on top of each other and give us the one composite,
Uncle Bones. Yeah.
This is the image. So they're asking, what are we looking at? This is the image that
Yep.
came out from the James Webb telescope released today by NASA. This is the furthest known image that humans have ever seen. This goes back 13 billion light years from now. 13 billion years.
Some time and some distance there. Like Strangeland said, I don't know if you're familiar with remote viewing or not, but if we could remote view it, we could get there so much faster than the speed of light. The mind is connected to everything. Indeed, indeed. Now, Strangeland is someone I wanted to introduce you to.
Yep.
Derek, I think you two would have a lot in common. I think you guys would actually make a good podcast together.
You know me, I love the science and everything, all kinds of things.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, so we were just checking out the James Webb awesomeness going on and thought, cool stuff. Oh, Flyby Steve,
wait,
welcome.
hold on, let me switch. There's the Hubble,
There's the Hubble.
1995, deep field view from the Hubble. Where I could zoom in and you can see it's all pixelated. It's still, I mean, this image right here forced NASA to revise their numbers from we had billions of galaxies to we had trillions of galaxies. They said basically if you put your finger at arm's length and you looked at your fingernail, the image that we're looking at right here on the screen was the size of your fingernail. This image right here.
Right. That's the Hubble image, right?
That's the Hubble image. And this image right here is the James Webb. And they say if you hold your finger at your arm's length and you put a grain of sand on your fingernail, and that's basically the patch of sky that you're looking at right here. And that's the resolution that you have, which is obviously a lot sharper because if I zoom in, you see there's no pixelation anywhere. It's nice and clean. Higher
Yes, it's
resolution,
crisp.
but it's looking everything you see in this image, every little dot, even these little pixels, those are all galaxies. So the crazy thing is, this is the Hubble image, and
Yep.
everything in this image is a galaxy, except for all this pixelation that's going on around here. But on this image, same thing. Everything you see in here is a galaxy, except for this and this and this. These objects with these big light flares.
Yeah.
Those are stars within our near field view, stars within our own galaxy. So this star right here obviously is within our own galaxy. That's why it's showing up so bright
Right.
with the flare.
I
But these
love that.
objects behind it, all these little speckles of dots, those are all galaxies.
Galaxies.
Galaxy. Even
Galaxies upon galaxies.
see this little dot right there? This little tiny dot that looks smaller than the star. That galaxy is so far away it looks like a pixel. The star is so close to us it looks like a big giant.
I'm trying to remember that soap opera thing, and these are the grains of sand and the time.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That's what it reminds me of.
Times of
Where's
Our Lives.
Tiamat?
It's
not in there. This is way out there. So this is so far out there. It's about what they estimate now, according to light years, etc., etc. This is just short. Now, considering this is light years time frame of short, not like yesterday or last week, but considering over light years time frame, this is shortly after what they believe would have been the Big Bang time period, correct?
Yep, look at that galaxy right there. Isn't that cool? Galaxy, look at that galaxy. Star.
Yeah.
You can
Star.
tell the stars have this red and blue star flare thing.
That's
So
beautiful.
you can tell the stars in our near field by this red blue flare. Look at these galaxies. That's clearly spiral, 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 spiral,
You
spiral.
know what's awesome? Here, I'm gonna put that full screen again. You know what's awesome when you look at those stars, the
Boom, boom,
starbursts,
boom. Yep.
you know, that is the pattern that has been drawn for stars forever, right?
Oh yeah.
Well before we
Starburst.
even had a telescope.
It's always the same. You look at the spectral imagery of them. Look at this one. See this small
And
one here?
yeah,
So it's red and blue, and the pattern. It's the same thing here. It's just more focused, bigger.
yeah.
But it's
Well,
see
fly
there's
by
red,
Stu,
red, red. It looks like red.
the to get a full image of Earth from the moon,
Yep.
he's asking, show us a picture of Earth from the moon. There's a lot of people that are of the belief. I'm not sure. I'm not going to assume that Flyby
That
Stew
it was
is a flat
staged.
earther,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I've
there's a
heard
lot of
it was
people that
staged.
don't believe we landed on the moon. There's a lot of uh, conjecture being said, I guess,
Can I
which
make
I
a
don't know if
real
that's
quick
even the
point?
proper word for
Can I make a real
space.
quick point?
What's that?
Can I make a real quick point on
Oh,
that?
please do. Please do. I'm
So the interesting thing is, any person who could buy an amateur telescope,
Yep.
because I've done this before, buy an amateur telescope, point it up to the moon, and you'll actually see. You could actually, if you are good enough at telemetry and stuff like that, you could actually find where the lander was left and the rover was left and the footprints and all that shit. You could zero in on that. It's all there. So anybody who says, "Oh, that was all staged," oh, okay, go get a telescope and point it up there, and then try and explain why you're able to see that it's there, and explain that it's a hoax. I mean, that to me would be the real thing, because if you can see it with your own eyes, then how do you try and disprove it?
I think, well, there's a lot of discrepancies. Okay. And I
There
understand
are,
that.
yes.
And I understand that our government isn't honest with us. I mean, look at JFK. Just give that for one simple blanket example. Like, really, have we gotten the truth from JFK yet? No. So,
I'm still waiting for
there's
Roswell.
right, Roswell, there's all this conversation out there that yes, we can't really believe everything that's being stuffed down our throats. And that's why it's important to learn how to think for yourself and not, have someone teach you what to think, but you learn how to think. And that is very important. And I think critical thinking, logic, all of these types of skills should be
Common
taught
sense
in elementary level. I believe that.
and common sense.
Yeah. I mean, common sense, I lack common sense in a lot of ways. So
Well, we all do, but that's one of the things that most people aren't teaching their kids these days. It almost seems,
exactly.
you know,
Yeah. And I think it's important, especially, logic and critical thinking. Those courses, and you can even get coloring books for children, just to teach them how to think. Not what to think, but how to think. And that's what I did with Joseph. That's what we did with Joseph is, he was taught how to think. And so when people are taught how to think, not what to think, they're not easily swayed either. So they're not easily what is that term where they, where peer pressure. They're not affected by peer pressure and things like that because they're able to think for themselves. And most of the people that are capable of thinking, truly thinking, are able to get away from all of the little hangups that tend to catch a lot of other people. But some of the arguments that I've said as far as the lunar landing and all of that is we can't even get a good cell signal here on our own planet in our own town, and yet way back when they were, so a lot of that stuff, yes, I understand. There's a lot left to be desired in that regard. But
I think people need to wake up, to a lot of things. Um,
yeah.
when it comes to the landings, or flat earthers or this or that,
Mhm.
it's like easy arguments against all that, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like lunar landing. Okay, go to any place and buy your preferred, telescope, point it up to the sky, check the lenses, whatever, make sure it's working properly, and you're going to see that there's evidence that we landed on the moon. It's still up there. And for anybody who thinks that doesn't exist, it's like, okay, well, point it up there. Any telescopic device you want to buy, they're all going to show the same thing. So they can't all be rigged to be fake. It's
Right,
not like
that's the
it
other
didn't
thing.
happen.
Considering all the contention in our with the countries, are so now we're all gonna agree?
Yeah.
Like, they're all gonna agree on this?
Well, it's the
No.
same thing with like let's say the coronavirus.
Uh-huh.
So there was a lockdown that occurred 2 years ago, and within our country, and crazily, the rest of the world locked down too. And there was factions of people in our country and other countries saying, "Oh, this is all a hoax," and this was a good hoax if you could get everybody else in the country, in the world, including all of our enemies, to join in on the whole masquerade, thinking, "Oh, there's this pandemic, let's lock down all at the same time," kind of thing. You know, it's that kind of mindset. A lot of times people are swayed by the masses, and they don't really necessarily look at what's going on. They might
Right.
think, "Oh, hey, oh, okay, let's do this because everybody else is doing it."
Well,
You
there's
know,
some, yeah, like what Strangeland just brought up. The big thing was the Van Allen radiation belt was what they say could not be penetrated to get to the moon.
mm,
And they're one of the astronauts, I am I can't remember which one, when they were asked about that in specific, they said, "Oh, well, we didn't know about it then, so it didn't bother us." It's like, okay, wrong answer.
yep,
So I can understand that there are a lot of things that have been said in interviews and things like that that lead to a lot of frustration. Okay, like Coin brings up Admiral Byrd. One of the Iditarod mushers up here was part of Admiral Byrd's mission. Um, so there's a lot of other ways to look at facts and history and events and things like that. Like my dad has been to Antarctica. I can talk to my dad. He's a diver in the Navy. He was doing some
military.
insane things back in his day, and unless people have access to certain kind of information, it's easy to disregard a lot of data, and it's easy to build up confirmation biases, and when you once you've built up a narrative, it's easy to build up walls and not allow any of the counter data to come through. And if you're not looking at all of your data, you're doing yourself a disservice. And you know me as a data
Obviously.
person, I don't care. I always have always said that. You know that from working with me. Let the data speak. Let the data speak. And until you really get everything in, and then once all the data is collected, that's when you can start parsing and fleshing through it. But until you get all of your data in, you're going to get these different points of views, perspectives, et cetera, that,
Yep.
Fit a certain narrative.
Oh, yep, I agree.
Yeah. And so, we have video of different objects coming into our atmosphere, and so to disregard a lot of this, a lot of people think, a lot of the flat earthers actually believe in the old school Bible firmament, Sheol, that whole, we're in this globe type um uh atmosphere, basically. And so, the term breaking the glass ceiling, that's something they think of literally.
Mm. It kind of reminds me of that.
I don't want to say they, as in these are just some weird group of people. I mean, there's a lot of interesting and intelligent people that are a part of these different, thoughts or ideas or whatever you want to throw it out there. But
I think it's good to entertain everything because I mean, even what was revealed today just by NASA
oh,
with
I bet you do.
the new imagery that they came out with the James Webb. It
Right?
just goes to show that we don't know everything. That we're still learning shit.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
as our technology gets better, we're learning a little bit, a
Tick,
little bit
tick.
more precisely, kind of thing. But nobody has the right answers. Nobody is all knowing or anything like that. I mean, we all got to keep an open mind to everything because there's
Absolutely.
there's nothing
Absolutely.
definitive on any one stretch. Any. I mean, we could talk about any topic,
Abs-
and
my
there's
nemesis.
nobody that knows
Come here.
everything on that one topic.
Right.
Doesn't matter what it is: politics, religion, science, this, that, whatever. I mean, and it just goes on and on and on. But I think it's cool that we're cracking some codes.
Yeah.
We're
And we're
finding out more
learning a
things.
lot
Yeah,
more about our past, our history,
and not
because,
just our history, but the history of the whole universe.
right.
And that to me, I think is mind-boggling how big the scale is. And I remember hearing, I think it was Michio Kaku, um, who said something to the effect that mathematically it's a certainty that there's other life out there. Because if you look at the trillions of galaxies, and the average galaxy has hundreds of billions of stars, you do the math, and each of those stars has a solar system and moons and shit like that. And
Yep.
just look at our star, the sun. There were 9 planets. Pluto was downgraded. There was 8. Whoop-de-doo. There's still Pluto there. And then possibly Nibiru further out. There's asteroid belts. There's comet belts. There's moons. I mean, shit. There's hundreds of moons in our solar system. Most of them around Saturn and Jupiter. But the bottom line is, look at all the planetary objects just in our own backyard, around our own sun, our own star. And
Right.
then you multiply that by the 250 billion stars in our own galaxy. And if all of those have on average 4, 5, 6 planets.
It's our buddy, Uncle Bones.
Oh, Uncle Bones. Wait, that's Uncle Bones 2. I'm Uncle Bones 1.
Uncle Bones, we did a podcast together, starting out with introducing the Uncle Bones.
I got Bones right here.
Here, look, Uncle Bones. There you are, buddy. I didn't know you were hanging out with Derek.
He's all collapsed. Look at it. He's all collapsed down. He's easy to maneuver. and that's where you go right there. Over there.
That's awesome.
Yep. Uncle Bones.
Uncle Bones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Science is good stuff, though.
It is. It's so much fun. And there's a lot out there to learn and explore. Fly by Stu. Okay, super soldiers. Do they fit in with outer space?
Super soldiers. Sure. I'd say yes.
Let's see. Strange land. I've seen rocks that have symbols wrote on them that you need to take a picture of and to expand the view because it can't be seen by the eye. Oh. Interesting.
Send some imagery because I got all the software in the world. I could zoom in, zoom out to your heart's content.
Awesome. Did you want to share your email with anybody or?
What's that?
Did you want to share your email?
How would I share it? I could see how I could share my screen. Do I just verbally give it, or is there a way to share it?
Look, Uncle Bones. Small world, Iron Dog.
Okay, so how do I?
Let me think. I could put up the banner, or we could just put it in where your name is too. Let me see here.
Yeah, because I can't see how I could type a comment. I'm all new to all this stuff, people.
No, I could put it here in the comments.
Yep. You can put it's my main email. I mean, maggoteater at maggoteater.com or DerekALopez@hotmail.com, or I got a lot of email addresses.
There you go. maggoteater@maggoteater.com. There you go.
I like maggots.
Yeah. And he's got a way, audio, all that, if you've got some sound clips that you'd like to get, some better. Hey, Michael Haywood. You want someone to work with. He does a lot of graphics. Of course, he obviously has musical talents galore.
The graphic I did was for Jackie and crew.
The Bonk logo.
Bonk.
Yeah.
But I do all kinds of other graphics, obviously. A million different things. But whatever. That's all good stuff. Uncle Bones won for his password. Yep, Uncle Bones won.
Uncle Bones won. Yes. Well, that's awesome. But I think there's so much coming out. I'm excited. I think on my birthday, especially, my birthday's Wednesday this week, I've canceled all my original plans. Originally, tomorrow I was supposed to have another nerve block. And so I postponed that till next week.
Yep.
And so I'm going to actually spend my birthday alone doing exactly what I want. Me.
I had it on my screen earlier.
Oh, right. All right. This is what Derek envisioned when I told him I was going to be spending my birthday.
Trying to pull it up.
Right. I do my birthday party alone this year. Party.
Yep, here it is.
Thank you.
See if I could pull this up.
Yeah, I kept saying I was going to be 53. I threw away a whole year, apparently. I turned 52 this year.
Holy hell.
I know. No, I turned 52.
How'd you leapfrog me in age? You're like, hey, I want to be older than you. I'm going to 53. Watch out.
Step aside, Derek. Here I come.
You think you're
Huh.
older than me? I'm coming over. All right, so all right, here's what I envisioned. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Yeah,
This is what. All right, I'm sharing it.
okay.
And share
Let me pull this up.
screen.
Danny Staten.
Share.
Here we go.
This is what I envisioned you doing alone on birth. Why did you cut it? There's supposed to be a scene where
See, it cut it off again. There we
there it
go.
is. There's supposed to
Yeah.
be a scene where you're sliding on in like you're home alone. I think I pulled it up too. There it is. That scene is a little
Yep.
too good.
That's gonna be me big time. Right
There
here.
it is.
Yep.
Boom. That's how I envision you rolling in from your birthday. Like, boom, I'm sliding in off screen.
Yep. That's
You know, the only other visual I would have had would have been home, like I was talking about earlier, Home Alone. You know, with Macaulay Culkin. Once he realized he was home alone, he started just trashing the place.
yeah.
But the risky business with Tom Cruise, that was my first thoughts of you. You know, doing your
Yep.
birthday at Home Alone, just flying across the floor and be like, "Woo, okay, bring it on." Obviously, you know, we're both old enough to remember that scene as it was, you know, real
yes.
kind of thing. But most of the younger crowd these days, they're like, "What the hell's risky
Uh,
business? Who is that fella that's sliding across the floor?" They probably didn't
right?
realize it's Tom Cruise.
That's funny. Good times. Danny
But that's
Staten.
how I envisioned you.
You
You
can't
know,
drop links. Well, it's a perfect envisionment. Envisionment. Is that
envisionment. Yep.
that's so awesome.
Yep. 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 So what are you gonna
Woo!
do the rest of the night?
I am gonna go check on the masks.
Oh,
I had
see
some
if
Footy Man masks.
Bigfooter popped around.
Yeah, just go see what they while I take Woo for a walk. And
Somebody should take my advice. Build once, you know, the ones, you know, like when you go to a city street sidewalk, sidewalks are in squares that are like 3 feet by 3 feet on
yep,
average,
yep,
depending on the city. Just go out in the middle of nowhere, put up the barrier 3 feet by 3 feet, pour cement into it, and then walk away and have a sign there saying, please do not walk on the wet cement.
that's right. It's a great
And
idea.
yeah, because who doesn't obey orders like that? Any public person that sees a sign saying don't do this, they're gonna do that.
They're gonna do exactly that very thing.
They're gonna do that very thing. They're gonna be like, oh, screw that. I'm gonna put my foot in there. I'm gonna wiggle
Yep.
it around and do all this other shit.
Write my name, put my
Write my name.
face in it.
So if you put a sign saying, you know, if they're saying, hey, don't leave your footprint right here, somebody's gonna leave their footprint there.
There you go. Let's hope. Maybe they
And
can
if you put it
read
out in the middle of
English.
nowhere, I suspect now put some fruits and veggies and all kinds of edibles around it.
Yeah.
And I
Make it
guarantee someone's going to go over there. Ooh, look at all these treasures, and leave their footprint somewhere in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
They'll come up on and say, you know what? I'm gonna do exactly what I want, not what this sign is asking.
Hey, if I was a Bigfoot, I'm going to go after the treats.
Exactly.
You know,
They're
and I might leave my foot in there just to say, hey, thank you.
yeah.
Fist bump.
They might even leave a signature, like a little note.
Wouldn't be all fancy like in the winter time snow.
Exactly.
In the mud, it'd be a little more rough, but
Yep.
it would be all fancified, like, oh, I'm carving in the snow. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Here's my name.
yep.
Don't wear it out.
I suspect Bigfoot is primate, highly intelligent,
Yes.
and the fact that you look at any animal on the whole planet in the wild, go out, walk out. I don't care where you live.
Right.
Just go out, walking out into the wilderness, away from your backyard or whatever, and see what the odds are of you trying to find whatever local animals that live around you. See how your chances are trying to see them,
Exactly.
and then extrapolate that mathematically as to your chances of seeing something that's a little more harder to see. Like, for example, Wolverine. You know,
Yep.
Wolverines are all over North America. How many people have actually seen a Wolverine? Now, I know you and I've talked about this before. You know,
Mhm.
back in, and I brought this up back in the 70s, there was no pictures or videos of Wolverines anywhere. There was
Mhm.
no internet. You know, Wolverines were a thing of legend. You know, it's kind of like trying to find a Bigfoot. Nowadays, there's pictures and videos of Wolverines. You know, they've been discovered. Well, that's a little tiny critter that's just not wanting to be found, but doesn't back down from anything. And so, what's there to say about a Bigfoot? Some critter that is elusive, doesn't seem to be predatory or doesn't seem to be aggressive like a wolverine that doesn't back down from its prey or whatever. It's just some critter that just wants to be left alone, for whatever. Wolverine, on the other hand, I've seen videos of Wolverine hold off a pack of wolves. I've seen a Wolverine holding off a bear.
A bear. Yeah, a wolverine will take on a full-on bear, and wolverines are
Wolverines
not to be messed with.
are vicious. The craziest video I've ever seen. Well, there's two. If you get on YouTube and type in Wolverine versus Grey Wolf, and this is the craziest shit fight I've ever seen. A Wolverine had a prey, and it was right here, and then a Grey Wolf was coming up behind it, and the Grey Wolf attacked the Wolverine. Now, Grey Wolf is a big fucking animal. Now that's bigger than a German Shepherd, and as you know, they're fucking vicious. You know,
Mhm.
you know they usually hunt in packs, but this gray wolf approached the Wolverine. According to the video, you can find the video on YouTube. And they approached the Wolverine, attacked it from behind, and they were tussling around. Almost looked like the Wolverine was like fighting like a cat, jumping around and all this shit. And the craziest ass thing was the Wolverine chomped on the, how wolves have, or like dogs, they have these long snouts, like a German Shepherd. So on the top part of its snout, the nose part, the Wolverine clamped on for dear life, and then its claws, its front claws, dug into the neck, and then its back claws dug in under the rib cage, and it would not let go for nothing. And this
Oh.
wolf was flinging his Wolverine around, rolling around. You could hear the wolf yiping and shit like that. It was spinning over and shit like that. Mind you, it's a gray wolf, many times bigger than a Wolverine. And Wolverine's not small or anything like that, but Wolverine's stature, its legs are thicker than a gray wolf, and its stature is just it's like a miniature bear kind of thing. And it looked like it was doing jujitsu. Yeah, shit you not. It was clamped on for dear life, and it was like ground playing this wolf. And no matter what the wolf did, the Wolverine did not let go. It was the wolf was slamming the Wolverine on a tree stump and shit like that. Wolverine was like, "Fuck that! I'm holding on for dear life. I'm chomping on for dear life." And you could actually see the video of the Wolverine torquing. the snout of the wolf and the wolf yiping and shit like that. It's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, Wolverines are vicious. And then you
They
talk
are.
about a Wolverine against a bear.
Yep.
That is insane shit too.
Yep.
To
It's
watch that.
scary to watch. And for as little as they are, they pack a punch, boy, and they will not back down. They
They
will
won't
not
back down
stop
against anything. Nothing.
anything. No, they don't. Yeah.
It's great.
Uh,
You know, the craziest video though, aside from the gray wolf I've
uh-huh.
seen of a Wolverine was against a caribou, full grown
Mm.
caribou,
Caribou
little
are
tiny
goofy.
Wolverine, and this Wolverine killed the caribou by itself. And how it did it was it would jump onto the head and it'd gouge out the eyes, and the caribou would be flailing it about. Wolverine would get flicked off. The caribou wouldn't know where it was going, so it would just spin around, and the Wolverine would run back around and clamp onto the head and start grinding away and shit like that. And each pan, every time it get flicked off, it'd come back around and start attacking the head, and eventually it wore down the caribou to where it was able to drag it down to the ground and just started eating. It
Yeah.
was the craziest thing. It was filmed in I want to say Norway or Sweden or some shit like that. And it's crazy seeing something this tiny taking out something that big.
Yep. It'll try and
They're so
suffocate
vicious.
the thing. It'll try and drown them. It'll do anything it can to get it, its prey down. It is the most opportunistic and savage critter.
And it's
Abs-
crazy seeing it steal some other
yes.
predators to take, like a wolf or a bear or
Yep.
whatever. When a Wolverine smells a prey, it goes in there and it's gonna steal it. It's the craziest shit. I mean, I've seen how like Alaskan Huskies, how
Yep.
they're sometimes there will be polar bears or brown bears that'll come into camp because they know the Huskies get the food and they befriend the Huskies, cuddle the Huskies and stuff like that. They're like, hey, give me your. They become friends with the Huskies in order to get the food. And the crazy thing is, I've seen some videos of, I don't know if it was in Alaska or Canada or Russia or whatever, but it was in the northern sphere where there'd be these multiple dogs, and a Wolverine would. Oh,
Oh, no, keep talking. I was just agreeing
uh,
with Uncle Bones.
okay, I thought you were pointing out that was the story.
Yeah.
So there'd be these multiple dogs, and there'd be this one Wolverine, and this Wolverine would be fending off this whole pack of dogs, and obviously these were like sleigh dogs, kind
Yep.
of thing, because they were trained and stuff like that. You could tell they were trained, but they looked more like huskies. But the crazy thing is seeing like six or seven, eight of them against one Wolverine, and the Wolverine would just be backing them all off and shit like that, and they'd be all yiping and stuff, and then they'd eventually
Tuck tail and bail.
exactly. It's crazy, one against eight is not
Yeah.
uncommon kind of thing. Yeah,
They are vicious. When my dog, Radar, that's the one my mom always called fake dog, that would get us
yep,
into oh, so much trouble. Well, Radar would he had I don't know, he was kind of fearless, not fearless, but he just loved everything. He was a lover kind of dog.
yep.
Anyhow, and I'd take him hiking. That dog went everywhere with me. You remember that. And I took him up in Hatcher's Pass, and I was climbing up one of the mountains back in there in the range up above the lake and stuff. And as we got up there, there's like this big waterfall that comes down, and we were sitting, it's kind of crested over there, and I was just got up there and was sitting right on the edge, of that cliff and where the edge is and the water kind of starts trickling off.
Yep.
And right out of there, this big old Wolverine comes out. And Radar, of course, was thinking, oh, this is a new
Play buddy.
friend.
Yeah,
Yeah, a new play buddy. And luckily, luckily, the Wolverine took off and started bailing for its little den. And Radar was like, "Oh, we're gonna play chase, great!" And so off he went. And I'm thinking, "Oh, my dog is going
It's
to
gonna be a
die."
long afternoon. Yep.
Yes, I'm thinking this is gonna be one of the worst days of my life here. And sure enough, when so I'm booking, of course, this is when I'm really fit, and I am just huffing it across, the terrain, and it is just horrible. And they are just beating it. And that Wolverine goes and tucks into its little den. And the den that it was in, of course, had a small mouth, luckily,
Wow.
and it had all this big, huge rock on around it. So Raider couldn't get into it, luckily. But man, he just slammed into that thing like, woo, we're gonna have fun. Oh yeah, that was a close call, but yeah, that was my unnerving. Like I thought I was gonna lose my dog and possibly my life that day.
A lot of people, a lot of people don't realize how badass Wolverines are. I mean,
Hmm.
they are fucking vicious.
Yes.
They won't back down from anything. It don't
I
make
know. Yeah, and
it no matter how big whatever it
yep,
is. The biggest grizzly bear you could find, Wolverine, little tiny wolf. I mean, they're on average a little smaller than a German Shepherd. They're bigger than a poodle or a
yeah,
Chihuahua or whatever, but they're
yeah,
smaller than a German Shepherd. But
yeah,
on average, they're kind of like right in that middle range.
yeah,
But
definitely.
their claws are like bear claws,
Yeah, they're
and the
super
thickness of
long.
their legs. Most dogs have skinny, twindly legs, kind of like a moose, just little sticks. Their bodies are big, but their legs are Wolverines. They have like the bear legs. They're so fucking thick. They're like tree
They're
trunks,
stout.
and they're a little tiny critter. And their claws, I mean, literally are as big as each
Your
claw is
digits.
big as, long as your fingers. That's their
Yep.
claws. That's not counting the digits, but that's what's on the
Good
in.
night, girls.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's this badass picture I've seen of Wolverine. I'm gonna try to pull it up.
There's a video. Have you seen the one where the Wolverine has that goat head and it's just cruising down the trail?
They're crazy. I mean, they are totally
It
crazy.
doesn't care. There's no cares in the world.
No cares in the world whatsoever. Here we go. I think I found find this one picture here. This one
Awesome.
particular picture is oh man, there's so many good pictures of Wolverines right now, but there's this one picture I wanted to find. Which is,
Absolutely. Nature's ultimate offensive defensive unit, the Wolverine. Yep. Who else
they're
had
bad.
Strangeland?
Yeah, they're definitely bad. But there's this one picture I was trying to find that really accentuates uh, really shows their claws. Here it is. Boom. That is a perfect picture right there.
Bam, bam, bam. Uh,
I love it. I love it.
last night, Woo had a rough night.
Oh, really? Poor
Yeah, she's
Woo.
been having some pretty rough nights here lately, so makes for some long evenings.
Well, I found this. All right, here I'm going to share this. We still. All right. Let's share the screen. Boom, boom, boom. See that?
Here we go.
So obviously it shows Wolverine. I did a search for Wolverine pics, and it showed all this. Obviously the Wolverine from Marvel, but
Yeah.
what I wanted to show was the claws.
Yep.
And show how its stature is. Obviously you come across this in the wild, you don't want to mess with that. You want to
No,
walk.
that's not something cute and cuddly to go play with.
But look how big its paw pads are.
Yes.
I mean, this a lot of people think of like let's say a German Shepherd. A lot of
Yep.
people think that's like the premier attack dog or even a pit bull. These pads right here are many times bigger than a German Shepherd or even a pit bull. And if you look at the width of their ankles and stuff like that, and then you look at their claws compared to like let's say a German Shepherd or a pit bull. I mean, there's no comparison. I mean, these for their size, their claws and their legs are just way bigger and more dense than any attack dog.
Yeah,
And
it's just pure
smaller.
muscle.
Yeah, I mean they're I mean look how big that is. I mean just like a bear, you can tell how big a bear is by the width of its shoulders or the width of its ears. You look at these paws and their shoulders and stuff, and they're a little tiny creature, but their stature is so wide and stuff like that. I mean, that's a crazy thing right there. Anyway,
Yeah, it is. Sorry,
I'm,
Woo's
I'm,
over here
I'm
snoring
obviously
away.
fascinated with Wolverines. I think they're amazing
They
creatures.
are. They're amazing. Well, they're also the ability for them to survive and thrive
Yeah.
in the terrain that they do, and
The Russian
manhandle.
environment,
Yep. The way that they
dry,
manhandle their prey
cold.
is
Yep. The craziest thing is seeing them going and stealing the prey, the kill of some other predator,
yep.
wolves and bears and shit like that.
Yeah.
That is the craziest thing because when they catch scent of something, they're going in and they're going to get it,
It's
and they
on.
don't
It's
care.
on.
I mean, the craziest thing is seeing them go against like a pack of wolves or a full-grown grizzly.
Yep.
It's like they don't give a fuck,
Nope.
I mean,
They have that saying, honey badger. Yeah.
yeah. Honey badgers. The crazy thing is, honey badgers and wolverines are slightly different. Now, honey badgers are more in Africa,
Right.
and wolverines are more in the northern hemispheres of like America, Europe, and Russia. But the honey badgers are more dense and compact, smaller snout and stuff like that. But the wolverines are more like a little pit bull bear kind of thing. They're a little stockier, even though height wise they're about the same.
Uh-huh.
They're slightly different. The wolverines, though, I think would easily take out a honey badger just based on muscular stature and size. They're
Size and
they're very similar, but the
yeah, the
wolverines are.
tenacity in them are very similar.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I heard when brown bears
they're both.
attack, they get down and come at you like a big cat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
Honey badgers. I've
brown
seen
bear,
honey.
it depends on when you're dealing like bears and specifically are very unpredictable. That is the key thing with bears. They are very unpredictable.
Well, other than them going downwind of you, if they smell you, they're going to go
Mhm.
downwind of you, and they're going to be the hunters.
Yep.
Bears don't like being surprised, and obviously, as humans, you don't want to surprise a bear because if you surprise a bear, you're dead.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
that's usually really lights out for you.
Yep.
You'll
So,
see a
so
bear when they get onto a scent or whatever, you'll see them position itself. And depending, like again, they are unpredictable. Every single situation is always different, but
they
for
might
most,
entertain the idea, but they might run off. You never know.
right, right, it's very unpredictable. But they'll usually, get into to where they're downwind from that scent and they're in depending on the position that they're at, but
Yeah, like they're trying to hunt.
yeah, they're going to get into if they're kind of following along
Yep.
and they're watching and picking you out. Oh god. It's good times.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good
Bears.
time being tracked by a bear.
Yeah, I mean, bears, I mean, they're fucking smart.
Yes.
And a lot of people talk about Bigfoot. Well, you think about bears, and a lot of people might think bears are dumb. But a lot of people might think animals are dumb in general, but animals are fucking smart.
Yeah.
And in some ways, certain animals are way better than us fucking humans. And bears out in the wild, not in the zoo, out in the wild, are fucking badass trackers. And they're killing machines. They'll, obviously fuck, fuck those people up
Yep.
easily. You know,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't want to come across one out in the wild.
Mm-mm.
Just a one-on-one situation. I mean, if I'm driving
I
in my
have too
car,
many times, and it's each time it's a roll of the dice every time, and I've rolled those dice so many times. It's
I
like
mean, driving in a car and seeing a bear walk across the street, that's one thing.
that's one thing.
You know, um,
When you're
and
in yeah, when you're
now
inside
bears won't
something,
usually attack cars, but
right?
I've seen on rare occasions a pissed off bear attack a car, just like any other pissed off animal, like an elephant in Africa, or lion, or whatever else. I mean,
See a flyby stew.
sometimes see you, fly by, catch you later. But you know what I'm saying. Sometimes the animals will attack. I mean, most of the times they'll run though. Most of my experiences when I come across any kind of animal, their instinct is, oh, human,
Yep,
here.
I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't matter how big or small they are. That's the natural animal instinct. But sometimes you get these juveniles, like whether it be moose or bear or any other animals. Moose are probably the ones I've seen the most in my life. These juveniles that are trying to make a statement, and
Mhm.
they won't back down.
Nope.
And those juveniles, like little tiny trees, they're about you know small enough where you can put your hands around. I've seen them plow through those kind of little tiny
Yeah, like they're toothpicks. Exactly. I've
trees.
said that before in a different group. There's this how to hunt guy that's into Sasquatch, and I was talking. He had this clip of this bear, running through the grass, and I was saying like how I've been in a plane looking down, watching a bear plowing through the trees, just like they're plowing
Like
through that
nothing.
grass, like they're nothing. Just and they don't even flinch. Like there was
They don't
nothing
slow
like
down
that.
at all. I mean, it doesn't
Nothing.
slow them down.
Just straight.
Bears and moose and the big game, when there's, I mean that's a lot of mass. I mean, like a bear, 1,200-pound bear, or even
Uh,
bigger, or even a moose, yeah, 800-pound moose kind of thing. I mean, obviously, most people would love to catch a 800-pound moose to fill up their freezer, but bears are even bigger than that. 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 pounds. I mean, I don't
but
know what the
not as
limit is that
tasty to
you'd see
eat.
in the wild. I mean, of course, we've seen all the ones that are stuffed at like
Mhm.
airports like that are even bigger than that. But just going off of, let's say, a 800-pound moose, 600, 800-pound moose, up to, let's say, a 12, 1,300, 1,400-pound bear, anywhere in that range, any person who's in Alaska seen one of them plowing through trees is like, like you say, it's like plowing through toothpicks and stuff like that, and it's very what's the word? It really kind of puts you in your own place in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know the word, the terminology to put on it, but as a person seeing that and realize, I mean, a tree that small, or even at your fingertips width, that's what, about 8-inch diameter. Any human, if you put your fingertips like this, hip on
Right.
hip. That circumference, if that was the size of a tree trunk that they're running through, that's what 6 8 inches. It's not that big. And obviously, they could run through small twigs like pussy willows and this and that, whatever the smaller things, like they're not even there. But 6 to 8 inch thick diameter trunks, on the smaller trees and stuff like that. For a human, that's not even doable.
Right.
For a human, any human, even the baddest ass human, you get the biggest baddest ass human to try and break those with their hands or whatever. A 6 inch round trunk. You know, find the baddest ass human and try and get them to break it any which way they can.
Yeah.
Arms, legs, this and whatever. Let alone trying to run through it and run through a bunch of those and snap them off at their shoulders like a bear or a moose can. They just plow through that shit like it's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Like a
snap,
Brahma
snap.
bull.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's
Imagine a bull with claws and teeth that wants to eat you. That's
yep.
basically what you're dealing with out there.
And
Yeah,
they're
so every
massive.
time I step out in the woods, especially now because I'm out here by myself, so I have to be extremely careful. So I'm not filming as much as I would normally because A, I need to have Woo on a leash so that
Woo,
that looses, I end up losing one hand just with that. And
woo.
then the woo woo, and then the other, I can't film and hold, I need a free hand. I definitely want at least one free hand, out there. And you definitely want to be on all your P's and Q's. So I haven't been filming that much at all, really. So, hey,
You need to
Joe,
film.
welcome, Squatching Cowboy. He just did a
Hello.
premiere. He's been gone for a while. He's been out and about. Glad to see you back, Joe. That's one funny dude. He's hilarious.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Funny
There's a
people
lot of
are always
people you're gonna get to notice their names and stuff in the chats, and
cool, cool, cool.
yeah, there's a nice little community that goes around to the different channels and hangs out, and they like to talk to talk to one another and talk, about Bigfoot and the outdoors and different things. So it's a lot of
Big,
fun.
Bigfoot, big
Footy
feet.
man.
Hey, big feet.
Hey, Big Feet.
Too hot to
This little dude.
squash.
That guy.
Hey, that guy.
Yeah, so I don't know. Once I get done painting, I'm definitely gonna do this one project though. I'm not
The
gonna.
3D one that we were showing
Yeah,
me.
let me pull it out here. Let's see
Yeah,
if I
that one looked
drop
awesome.
this whole pile I
Shit,
just
I'd
made.
love to do that one myself.
Yeah, that one.
That looks
So
awesome. Yours will get
yeah,
a lot better. You'll have better colors.
yeah. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to do that.
Yep.
I think I should paint all my Footy Man pink.
I think you should. I think you should paint it, whatever color you so desire.
Of pink and purple Footy Mans running around.
Woo! Well, if I come across a pink and purple Bigfoot, that is going to be an amazing trip. Hey, I might be able to make
You have
it
to double check and make
if
sure it's not
I
me in my
keep
little
consuming
pinky outfit.
if I keep consuming all this, I might be able to get to pink and purple.
Yeah, you never know. I keep trying. That's my goal. Like, everybody keeps me joking, like, oh, they must be on drugs if they're seeing Sasquatch. Well, I've definitely put that to the test. It's not working.
They might be on drugs if they see Sasquatch. Love that. That's good stuff. I like that.
Oh, your no BS 3000 meter. There you go.
Sweet. So, like we were talking about, you and I earlier, I don't know if
Uh-huh.
we did this live, but trying to capture a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot or a Big
Right.
Feet or a Yeti or a abominable snowman
Or Footy
is going to
Man.
be more challenging than snow leopard or Wolverine or any other evasive normal critter on the planet. Bottom
Absolutely.
line. Because the Bigfoot, by all accounts, is a primate. I think everybody would agree it's a primate. It's a mammal because it has fur, so I think it's safe to say it's a mammal. But most accounts are that it's a primate, bipedal, stands on two legs, got two arms. It's not a quad, like a cow or a deer or whatever walking on four legs. It's upright.
But it is capable to go on and
Just like
crawl
well, we
around
could
and
we
yep,
could too, but I
yep,
think it's safe to say the Bigfoot's main mode of transportation is upright,
yep.
bipedal, but even though it has very long arms, kind of like a gorilla, which would indicate that it does potentially move on all fours at sometimes, or maybe even for climbing. But having long upper extremities means that it uses those for movement too. But I think most people would agree that it's a mammal, bipedal, so on and so forth. But as
Yep.
hard as it is to find a Wolverine, anybody on this channel, go out there and try and find a Wolverine. I dare you. Just go out anywhere. Try and find a bear. Try and find a moose. Try and find a deer. Try and find a porcupine. Try and find any other land critter. Go out there any given day and try and find whatever you have locally. And as hard as it is for you to find local native critters, imagine how hard it's going to be to try and find something that's more deceptive, you know, and smarter and doesn't want to be found, kind of like the Wolverine.
Yeah. There is, and like what Texas Jack is talking about here, on the subject of how tough some critters are, there are people who have shot deer their whole life
Mm-hmm.
and that think that the way that the boogers, that's another term for Sasquatch,
Yeah.
boogers can get shot in the vitals but keep trucking. And it's like, it's almost supernatural. There is, there's someone who lives up here in Alaska and he's had an encounter. He has a whole other channel too, another great channel. His name's Fred. He runs Subarctic Sasquatch, and he had an experience, and he shot one with a 30-06 three times in the chest, and that thing still was moving and coming at him. So,
Well, think a grizzly bear, like a
uh-huh,
Kodiak, 1,200, 1,400 pound Kodiak. You know, I've heard stories of some of those taking multiple shots. Now, obviously, if you shoot them in the eyes, shoot them in the head, shoot them in the nose, critical spots, in the chest or whatever. But if you're just randomly shooting like you don't know how to shoot, shoot them in the
uh-huh,
legs, shoot them in the tail, shoot them in I mean, they're going to keep going. But if you're a professional shot and you hit them in the critical zones, the odds of any critter surviving one, two, or three critical shots that are well placed is very unlikely. So I
right.
think the situation is those who are shooting them that aren't killing them aren't as good of shots as one might think.
Well, well, with the 30-06, you at that
I
close
know that's like a
range,
cannon that's
it,
blowing
it,
holes.
it should take it out. But the
But
other
if
aspect
they're
of
shooting
this,
shots, if they shoot in the
well,
paw or the foot,
here's another aspect of this, and this was something that made me go, "Oh, okay, maybe this is how it all works." Daniel, was it Daniel Boone or Davy Crockett? I think it was Daniel Boone.
old timers,
Daniel Boone,
200 years ago.
right. He actually shot and killed one and was able to cut one open because his son was being attacked by one.
A bear, wolf, Wolverine,
And
Sasquatch.
by Sasquatch. Like he watched this whole thing, like it picked his son up and slammed him down, picked him up, slammed him down and went to go pick him up again. And had he made one more slam, his son probably wouldn't have made it through that. But his son, prior to that whole turn of events happening, had taken a few shots at him. And so that's what caused Daniel Boone to go, wait a minute, let me take a look at this. And so when they flipped it over, he could see where the shots had gone through, but it obviously didn't affect him. And when he cut it open, he found that it had this massive chest plate of bone that was like 3/4 inch thick, just this huge. It's not like ribbed chest like we have. It was like a full chest plate, is the way that he described it, which I found just
Extraterrestrial.
fascinating.
Yeah, they're
Good night,
aliens.
Strangeland. What's that?
I was just saying they could be aliens. You never know. Maybe.
Well, there's people that have had encounters where they have been um what do you call that? Taken. There's another term for it. Anyhow, where they've been abducted.
Yep.
And when they were on the ship, they've either seen another Sasquatch on there or have watched Sasquatch come off of ships, seen them come in and out of portals, all sort. Like, there are so many different types of encounters out there.
Yep.
It's absolutely
Never
fascinating.
ending supply. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, the crazy thing is with encounters and then also Bigfoot.
Nightcoin.
The
Yep.
similarities that are between them, but I mean, there's also differences. But I think there's some really cool parallels that are going on.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that they are definitely more flesh and blood, but I think that they have some capabilities that we may not be aware of or consider paranormal or supernatural, just because we don't understand it quite yet in our way of, like, there's a lot of people who feel that they can have telepathy conversations with them. There's people who have felt whether that's an EMF type projection, but some kind of fear, some type of nausea, some type of sickness, like, projected onto them. And
Kind of like that Cuba syndrome.
the what?
There's this syndrome that they call I can't remember if it's called the Cuba syndrome or the city within Cuba, but it's a syndrome, and it started in Cuba, where at the U.S. Embassy, where the employees there all of a sudden were being overwhelmed with um, immediate vomiting and nausea and stuff like that.
Oh,
And it's a phenomenon that started to spread to other U.S. embassies in other countries, and they think it was like um, non-evasive weaponry or something like that that was being tested in Cuba, and then it was being impacted in other embassies around the world,
interesting.
U.S. embassies. But I think it's called the Cuba syndrome or some shit like
Havana syndrome.
Havana syndrome. That sounds about right.
Thank you, Texas Jack.
Yep. And so the whole point is that we were talking about like the UFOs and the Wolverines and Bigfoot and all those other stuff. So there could be a lot more than we think that ties a lot of these things together. And so the reason why I'm bringing up this syndrome is, do we know if it's government? Is the government creating that syndrome? Is it some kind of technology that's being used against the U.S. Embassy in Cuba by whoever to, some kind of weaponry,
Yeah.
that would make people puke. Now there are, a lot of agencies around the world have tried to come up with means, like police or other entities for
Crowd
subduing
control.
rioters and shit like that, and
Yeah.
obviously forcing, having some kind of weapon where you could point at some people and they start puking
Yep.
or losing control of their own bodily functions or
Right.
whatever. Um,
Directional weapon. Yeah.
like stun guns are the current thing. You shoot at someone and they just, they're stunned. But lesser evasive weapons like the puke guns and some of these other things, which would deter people from proceeding forward. That kind of makes sense and stuff like that. But the weird thing is how it ties into a lot of these other things, like we were talking about the Bigfoot and aliens and all these other things. Some things seem like, in my opinion, over the years, some stories seem like they're government created, and others seem like they're from sole individuals. And then we have everything in between, and it's like trying to connect the dots and figure and filter out, what is artificial and what is real and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially today, it seems to me like there's a lot more fake things being pushed, because everybody wants to have their, time on stage or whatever. And so there's less legitimacy on a lot of things. It seems like more people are trying to flood the market, much like with the music industry. You know,
Yeah.
in decades past, most people would probably agree that the artists were handpicked from headhunters, and most of them made it to number one at some point in their time. But then now, you go decades now, and anybody can get into music so long as they have a computer and an internet connection and this and whatever. They don't even have to have any talent. They can just get into music, unlike the old days. But anyway, not to say there isn't talent today, but I'm just saying. So same thing with the Bigfoot and UFOs and all these other things. It could just be that in the old days, there was people that were trying to search for it legitimately, and nowadays there's a lot of people that are trying to search legitimately, but also people that are just trying to do it just for notoriety and not really for the passion of trying to figure it out, kind of
And get
thing.
some answers or raise awareness, because there's a lot of problems with the whole subject, depending on it, not depending, but regardless of what angle you come at it from. People are taking their children into areas that they don't know what they're up against at all. At least when you know you're going to Katmai, you know you're going to be dealing with bears. Like that, it's not a big surprise when you see a bear. It's, when you go to Denali, it's not a big surprise when you see bears and moose and the wildlife out there, because you know it exists. You
Yeah, so if
know,
you take your kids out there, the bottom line is don't be dumbasses and just let your kids run around like it's in your own backyard. There's wild animals everywhere because
well,
you're
either
in a
way,
zoo.
yeah, but you'd still want to know what you're up against.
Oh yeah,
So when people come across they have no idea. Your form of reference is, wait a minute, that's make believe. That's not supposed to be real. That thing is not supposed to be here. So that whole, and then that leads people down a whole other line of, who do I tell? How do I even process this information? Where do I go with this situation? Do I tell the cops? Do I tell the, fish and game? Who do I tell? Why wasn't I told about these things? That, I think,
tell
is the
everybody.
biggest.
Tell everybody is the normal method. in my opinion, just get it out there, get the information out there. If
Yep.
you come across anything, whether it's normal or extraordinary,
Right.
why fear sharing it?
Because
If
of
you, if you, if you
ridicule,
see a
like,
good
look at
swat
what
line,
happened to all the people with, like, the UFO phenomenon. Look at how many people were ridiculed and, like, Bob Lazar, someone who is a credible person who has a background worthy of acknowledgement,
that goes back
yet
many
yeah,
decades.
that is treated like a crackpot,
You know,
and that
people need to just come out with it. I mean, there shouldn't be. If you have a story, tell the story. If you have some footage, put the footage out there. Whatever it may be, just put it. I mean, in today's day and age, you know, uh, everybody has the means to put the evidence out there.
yeah, but
Everybody,
too, facing that ridicule can be overwhelming, it can be daunting, it can be scary, it can be hard, especially I
I think it's less
if you
the
just don't
the
if you don't have a real, like, say, tough skin or whatever, and you've had this encounter and then people start ridiculing you, it can be difficult. That's why it's a great thing that there are places like Bigfoot Odyssey and other places, that they can go that is safe and share these encounters where they're not gonna be ridiculed. That's one of the big things about that is they make sure that the chat and everything steers clear of making that guest feel uncomfortable. There will be a little pushback here and there if things kind of sound a little, you know, too far-fetched just to try and keep it.
I would say put it out there either which way. I
Yep,
mean, me personally, I'll say whatever comes to my mind. I don't give a shit. No filters. You know me.
yep,
I just say it. And I think other people just need to get to the point where they're comfortable with putting shit out there. Look at society today.
yeah.
There shouldn't be anything that surprises anybody anymore.
Right.
I mean, realistically, you should be able to say anything to anybody, and they shouldn't be like, "Wow, you really did that? Oh, holy shit!" I mean, there shouldn't be anything that surprises anybody. You should be allowed to say whatever you want. I mean, the fact is, we have the rights to be able to say whatever we want in this country anyway.
Right,
And so when you're talking about things like Bigfoot and aliens and this, it's not like you're talking about anything taboo. I mean, on
yeah,
the political or social spectrum or whatever, you know,
right,
nobody's like, oh, you can't talk about taking away my guns. Okay, that's one thing. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Bigfoot and aliens and Wolverines and bears, stuff like that. And it's like nobody should get uptight about that stuff. It's like, come on, people, this is the fringe type stuff, or some people might consider fairy tales. It's real though. I mean,
right,
obviously, we know this stuff's real. There's
right,
evidence of all this stuff, whether it be, well, you and I talked about this back in our early lifetime in the 70s, you know, when we were adolescents or even early 80s. No pictures or videos of Wolverines anywhere. And I challenge any of my friends to try and find any footage from way back then or try and recall any story from way back then when they were in the 70s and 80s or eyewitness accounts of a Wolverine. Nobody I've ever met in my whole life or ever grew up with ever seen a Wolverine in the 70s. Never, it was all like legend kind of stuff. Nowadays, you could find some pictures and videos, not a whole lot, but like you get on YouTube, there's like I think maybe a dozen actual videos of Wolverines on there. Very, very few. I've watched them all. Uh, the Wolverine attacking the wolf and the bear, and
carrying
and
the goat head,
a couple
all of
others,
that.
but there's very, very few. And you could watch them all in one day and see all the pictures and videos of Wolverines in one day. That's on the whole planet. That's it. You know, that's what you have. That's an animal that's been around for millions of years, and that's all the footage. That's all we have of it. You can see it all in one day. Now imagine a Bigfoot. You know,
Yep.
we don't have enough footage or data of whatever
Bruce
to
Beaver.
pile it all together to even fill it one day. So it's more of a
Exactly.
Bigfoot than a Wolverine. I remember, was it about a week ago? You and I were talking about the snow leopard. You brought it up,
Yep.
I think, and how it took, I think you said 9 months before they were able to get the first footage
Yep.
in that one season. And that's a snow leopard. That's not a Bigfoot. that's a little, that's
Exactly.
a little tiny cat. And cats, they're
Exactly.
smart.
Yeah, it took them over 10 months to get video of that snow leopard, and that was
Right? And you
dedicated.
think a leopard. What's a leopard? It's just a bigger sized cat.
Yeah.
But you think of Bigfoot. A Bigfoot is supposedly 9, 10 foot tall, humanoid mammal type thing, primate,
Yep.
whatever it may be. So it's safe to say it has a big brain, like humans and chimpanzees and gorillas and apes and everything else, primate. And so if it has a big brain, if it doesn't want to be found, it's not going to be found. You figure if you're a human,
Key.
and there's a lot of humans that live off the grid. Like up in Alaska,
Yep.
we knew many people that lived off the grid. Some that mountain men that go off into a mountain range and live off there, or whatever.
Yep.
And that's a human. The human wants to go off the grid, and a human doesn't want to be found. I remember,
You're not gonna find them.
you can find. Remember Rambo with
Yeah.
Sylvester
I
Stallone way back in the
I
'80s.
think they're
That was
still
a
making
great movie.
Rambo movies, yes.
I mean, that was a great movie, but it was a green. It was to signify a Green Beret. Rambo was a Green Beret, and how they would be able to blend in with their environment. They were trained to blend in with the jungle of Vietnam,
Yep.
and whatever. And so when Rambo came back to the United States, he was fighting the locals, and he blended in with the train of, you know, where he was at, kind of thing.
Yep.
And it's like that's a human just trained as a Green Beret to blend in with his environment, and he was outdoing local hunters with sniffing dogs and helicopters, long rifles and shit like that. Now, what's to say a Bigfoot? If a Bigfoot is at the
Even
same
that's a
intellect
movie.
level, if they don't want to be found, what? Why wouldn't they be able to do like a Green Beret? Because a Green Beret is being trained to live in that environment. It's trying to
Well, you
become
could do it
a
even
Bigfoot.
yourself, and not to sound like creeper or whatever, but when you go into, like, a park area, you could easily be on, like, the bike paths and the areas like that, and people will not notice you.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah. And
You
so
know,
if something is intelligent, something that doesn't want to be found, only under under certain specific circumstances do you even have these sightings, it seems like. It
uh,
seems like a lot of the time it's when they want you to see them for whatever reason. It's like
think,
almost like a statement.
think of your best outdoorsy friends that you know,
Yep,
and pick any one of them.
right?
Like let's say the best of the bunch, and
Uh-huh.
that one individual wants to go out there and blend in with the environment and not be found.
Yep,
How hard would it be for the average, not the skilled, but the average person to try and find them? Someone
find
who
them.
might not have any. See someone like yourself, who's familiar. You're not average. You're above average because you're familiar with the outdoors world up in Alaska. Which is different than the outdoors world in any other place.
Yeah,
And so you know the science of animals and plants and this and that, whatever. And so if you were going to try and
I
find
do okay.
some tracker, some outdoorsy person who was trying not to be found, would have a better chance than some average lower 48 American who doesn't know outdoorsy stuff.
Yeah.
So you have a better chance. But if you were trying to find one of your friends who was very skilled, who was trying to hide themselves and not be found, imagine how hard it'd even be for you to try and find them.
Yeah.
Now, imagine if it wasn't just them, but if it was some Bigfoot who was even more skilled than them, because that's their whole life is living out in the wild, not just some, human trying to fake it.
Right. And the
Their,
ability to blend.
their ability to blend and all that stuff, kind of like a Rambo kind
Yeah.
of thing, where they're if you're living out in the wild, I mean, you're probably not showering every day, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's what you do in the wild. You blend into the
Yeah.
environment. If you're showering every day, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb, and all the animals will see you like, what the hell is going on? This individual smells too fresh.
Yeah.
So you
Where's
have to
that
smell like the
zesty
wild.
clean coming from?
Yeah, you know how you have to smell like the wild to be like the wild. And
Yeah.
go out there with Old Spice or Brute, or you can't put clones
Yeah.
on, or Deep, even Deep.
Some Axe body spray.
Yeah, exactly. But even something as simple as Deep, you know,
Mm-hmm.
someone who really wants to blend in is not going to even put on that. They're going to just go full on wild because DEET is a man-made thing.
Yeah.
As,
Well, there's a
and
lot of people that go through this like descent situation for hunters where they work really hard on making sure they are not carrying like they don't have a scent. But even then, I don't think, and this is going to be my opinion, and there's a lot of discussions on this in these hunting outdoor groups about it, but how much can you really descent when you're considering you're not wearing the fiber and stuff that you're wearing isn't like wool fibers. They're not
fibers
natural
with
fiber.
man-made and stuff.
Right. So it's man-made clothing that they're wearing. So even that, even to those levels, like we think, oh, this can't be detected because now I haven't washed it. It's been outside and blah, blah, blah. And I've put, deer urine all over it and blibbity blobbity blue blah blah and scrubbed it in the dirt and did all this stuff and no, it doesn't have any scent. Well,
Animals, uh, smell detectors. I mean, just like the average dog. Humans will say, or the average dog's smell is like 8, 10 times more powerful than ours. But then animals out in the wild are even more
even
sensitive.
greater, right? Because a
Yeah,
dog can sit there and detect all the ingredients in a dish, like their scent. There's so,
it's,
you
it's
know,
it's so much greater than ours.
yeah,
Even to the point where there's some dogs that have been trained to sniff cancer in humans.
yeah,
Which
exactly.
is they could smell it under your skin, almost as if your skin's like Saran wrap or some shit. They can
Yeah,
smell the cancer under your skin, kind of thing. That's how strong their smell is. And to think that dogs are domesticated, so their smells are narrowed down based on the human environment, unlike wolves or other, you know, in the canine branch, where
right.
they're out in the wild kind of thing. Wolves out in the wild, obviously they track like a pack, so it's basically one big giant nose kind of thing. So they have an unfair advantage compared to domesticated dogs or whatever. But animals out in the wild, they can smell you like a mile away.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, exactly. So, I think we've got a lot to learn. There's still a lot to go, but raising awareness, making mm, at least allowing people to understand that this is a potential out there, is worthwhile endeavor. And I think that there's a lot of people out there with good channels that, are working on different avenues of approaching it. Everybody wants to find it. Everybody wants to have this, concrete evidence and put the question to rest. But I think a big portion of that is making people feel comfortable with the conversation itself and
Yeah.
just even having these conversations. Because finding Bigfoot, monster hunters, monster quest, all of these different channels that are on TV that are showing these different views and perspectives of these whether it's cryptid, whether it's, paranormal, whatever's going on in the world out there. It's just getting to a point where there's a more acceptability. And I think we're beyond that 50s mentality that, oh, the women are going to faint and the world is going to go into chaos if we're told some valid information. You know, we're not we're not blind to certain obvious, factors that we're being lied to. Like a lot of people can agree that we don't have the information on JFK. Like that could be a collective agreement that yes, there's little key features, missing
Yes.
in that storyline. So along that same narrative, it would be great to get to a point where people could trust the information that is being distributed and what is being said and how it's presented and things like that. And so I think there's a lot of great channels out there that is doing exactly that thing, and I think they should definitely continue doing exactly that and having these conversations, even in small groups, big groups, whatever, but having these conversations and making it more acceptable, and that way people are more up to sharing their information. Because again, it gets to that point where people don't like to be ridiculed. They don't want to face that scrutiny, you know, that
People need to get over that kind of thing because, well, you know me. I
well, it's
mean,
tough.
well, I could be called anything or said anything. I mean, you've seen me at my worst points, through
Uh-huh.
the decades that we known each other, and me as individually, I could take a lot of shit.
Right.
And so, what I try to encourage other people to do is, hey, it's not that hard. Don't. I mean, there are people out there that get too bent out of shape.
Yep.
We've all
Exactly.
came around those kind of people,
Oh boy,
and
have I dealt with a few.
yeah, and I come across people like that all the time, and people
Mhm.
that are varying different levels and shit like that. And it's like, why are you people all stressed out over this shit? This is nothing, you know. Just you know,
Settle
lower down
down.
the stress level, the drama levels and shit like that.
Yeah.
Deal with it as as what it is, kind of thing. And I see that a lot down here. Now, I know it's different in different parts of the country and other regions, whatever. But one of the things I see down here is a lot of locals are very high strung, and the mindset I keep getting reminded to is what I was told when I first moved here is, oh, this is a tourist capital, and things run at a different pace, so you got to
Yeah.
be patient. Expect things to be slow. And it was very hard to get used to when I first got down here, and it's still hard nowadays, because I want to move at my pace, but things are just it's always vacation.
Yeah.
Everybody
Like
don't give
the
a shit.
island vibe.
Island vibe kind of thing. And so there are a lot of people I come across down here, locals I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people that just come down here for vacation, leave, whatever. I'm talking about people that actually live here. Is they have this permanent mind, especially those who were born and raised here, permanent mindset that things are just low key, low pace, whatever. And you try and talk to them of anything at some other level or some other speed, and it's like, so you try and talk to someone about Bigfoot, you know, some on the fringe kind of controversy or whatever, and it's like way up here. It seems like, you know, um,
Definitely.
I don't know what it is. I can't pin my finger on it, other than the fact that I'm in the deep south. I don't know, but trying to talk to the average person about something. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people that I could talk to down here, but I try and talk to the average person around here about Bigfoot or any other controversial things or any scientific things or any mind things. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yep, it is tough. But that, I hopefully that will all change and, that we can start having these conversations more readily and we'll
Hopefully,
get to
people.
see more video and pictures that people have hidden out
Yep,
there. Groups like, the groups that are out there, Bigfoot Odyssey, Sawdust Bees. There's so many great channels out there that are out there doing their part on trying to get some evidence, and I think soon we're going to see something really start to open up. But there has been people in the past that have worked really hard on producing evidence, and whether it's been shoved under the carpet or just ignored or you know we've got this mindset now where we've got this 3 second where that's all we have. We can't stay connected any longer, and so
sort of thing.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully things will start to settle down and we'll hopefully get somewhere. But I think, like what I do, I don't consider myself a Bigfoot channel. I consider what I do more vlogging my life and what I enjoy doing and what I'm doing.
Rescue
And
lifestyle.
yeah, and what I like to do is, look for Footy Man. There's a lot of questions that I have that I'm looking for answers for on my own personal journey, and it's all part of that personal journey. And so I think that the channels that are dedicated to these, finding it, raising awareness, having these conversations, they all bring something to the table and they all deserve respect in one form or another. And I think,
I
there's a
agree.
lot of competition and a lot of ugliness and infighting and outfighting and all this
Should be
drama.
about finding answers rather than fighting.
Exactly. Exactly. And so
I
I
mean,
think,
I'm not like at the forefront of things,
uh,
but I'd love answers too. And
yeah,
that's one of the things I'd push for is understanding of whatever it may be. I
right.
mean, we all have questions, and I guarantee all of us have more questions than we'll ever get answers to. You know, come our final day, we're all going to leave this existence with unanswered questions.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
in my opinion, trying to answer as many questions as possible should be a challenge. Like
Yeah.
the ice bucket challenge or shit like that.
Yeah.
Try and answer questions, and if you get an answer to a question, share it with the rest of us, because
Yeah.
that might be a question some of us might have
It might be
that we
that
want
piece
answered.
of information we need. Exactly.
Exactly. I
So
mean,
for
let's
me,
share. I
this,
mean,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying the same thing as you. Let's all share
Yeah.
the information. We're in the information age. Get it all out there. We'll all. I mean, there's this whole thing of fake news and fake information, all this shit going on over the last number of years. But it's like, come on, people. We should all be
Let's get it
smart enough to be
together.
able to
Yeah.
slice through all that
Yep.
nonsense. Let's just screw all that shit. Who cares about fake stuff? Let's talk real.
Yep.
Fake stuff is super easy. Real stuff is
Exactly.
super hard. Get to the hard shit. Let's talk about the hard shit. Let's figure out these hard questions.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Like I've got Jake and Joe out in Bristol Bay right now. They're dealing with some hardcore elements. They're working long, rough hours. They're having long, hard days, things like that. It tends, when you have a real life, that tends to narrow your perspective. And so it doesn't, you know what matters in life. At least we know what matters in life. We understand, we cherish the things that really truly matter, and the other stuff can just go by the wayside. But there's not a lot of people that have that luxury, and so they kind of get inundated with all of that drama. But I think a lot of people need to just step away, go outside, reconnect with nature, and find your place out there. Don't
Nature
don't
definitely.
continue this hatred and this vile and this ugliness that keeps, raising its ugly head. It seems like every time you turn around, there's something else going on, but that's like that in any piece of life, I guess. But
People have
for
lost
me,
their touch with nature, I think, is
yeah,
a big statement of what you're saying.
yeah. So for me, like getting creative, doing projects like this that I've got coming up, doing the other painting projects, that's
I want
gonna
to help.
be, yeah, that's gonna
That
be
that
good
Bigfoot
stuff.
one looks awesome. I love that one. The
Thank you.
multi layers.
Yeah, so that's what I plan on doing, like the next couple weeks, is just keeping myself busy with that kind of stuff. I've got my birthday on Wednesday coming up. I've said that a few times, but that I'll be doing
37.
37 again. No, no. I will be 52. Super excited.
Hey, I was
Yay!
chipped. I was sold
Chip.
a 37 ticket instead of a 52. I'm
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah. And so after, I don't know, I think after Saturday is when I will be going to the Kinnick
Ooh,
members. So we're gonna have all the Iditarod Hall of Famers there. It's a potluck picnic. So yeah, so we're gonna go do that and see what that's all
is it
about.
actually going to be on the Kinnick?
It's over there at the Kinnick Old Town site.
I
Yeah.
love the Kinnick
So
Arm. The
that's
whole
on
area is so.
Sunday. So I'm probably need to figure something out and probably have someone sit in for me on Sunday or something, but we'll figure that all out. But yeah, so that's what I've got coming up this week. And hopefully we'll get some more video. Like I said, I don't know if I will tonight or not, but get some video, go check on the masks.
I love your
And
backdrop. Way
thank you.
better. Yep.
Got a new backdrop. So hopefully, changing things up and around and
Lean
trying
to
new
the right
things.
a little bit.
What's
Right.
that?
Lean to the right.
Lean to the right.
There you go. Perfect. You're,
Ah!
you're centered.
Exactly. Ah! All right. Well, I just want to thank everyone for coming along tonight. Thank you all. Thank you, Derek, for being here and joining me for this
Thank you for
live
having me.
stream tonight. And I want to
Chat
again,
after.
yeah, share our goods together. But everybody, you guys have a great night out there, and hopefully we will see you all soon. Tubers and footers, have fun
You
out
know,
there. Take care, y'all.
I
Toodles.